Good afternoon, America. Shane Jenkins here. Welcome to another episode of Liberty's Cage. It's the day before Thanksgiving, and man, do I have so much to be thankful for. I was sitting here thinking, like, this, since I got out of prison January 21st at 1 a.m., pardoned by the president, I was just thinking, like, it seems like I've been out more than a year, and I was like, this is going to be the first Thanksgiving that I've actually been out since post pardon. And so, I'm eternally grateful for that. I'm so grateful that I've been able to go to my youngest son's senior night to see my daughter. I took my daughter shopping last weekend for her birthday. Been able to see my kids, hug my kids, and I'm looking forward to eating some turkey and dressing, stuffing, all that tomorrow, and some pie and stuff like that. So it's a wonderful day. We have so much going on in the January 6th community, whether it's, MTG came to see us twice in the DC jail, but she's just resigned as of, it's going to be January 5th. But there's so much. You got Jake Lane going to Dearborn, Michigan, and that whole thing there. There's a lot of stuff going on out here in the world, but we have a very, very special guest. First of all, we're going to have Joe the Box here with us today, the whole episode, and then we've got a guy that goes by the name of Livewire, but his name is Dan Wilson. Hey guys, he was just pardoned by the president about 10 days ago, Friday, I guess 2 weeks ago, and we're so blessed to have him here, and I'm just thankful. I'm happy to have both of you guys here, Joe, Dan. It's excellent to see you guys. And welcome to Liberty's Cage, and yeah, I just want to hear what are you guys thinking about for Thanksgiving? What are you looking forward to most about Thanksgiving?
Getting out of jail.
That's right.
You ready for Dan? I know you just been out 10 days. Your stomach adjusted to this free world food yet? Are you ready to eat some turkey and stuff like that, or what?
Oh, for sure, man. Yeah, I've been eating fairly decent, a lot better than what Beckley had to offer. There's no doubt about that. No, I'm very thankful to be home. I mean, there really aren't any words, to express my gratitude. I'm humbled. I'm just extremely humbled that President Trump would take the time to look at my case and free me. Family's grateful. So good to be home. I just want to thank all the advocacy, just everybody that spoke out, everybody that supported me along the way, everybody that supported all the J6ers along the way. I've been in this battle since January 7th, 2021. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess you could say January 6th, but the community has its issues. That's what family does. It aggravates me too, but at the same time, I'm just so blessed to be a part of the community. Everybody I've met throughout, my experience since I got involved in 2019, it's been a little bit of a rough road, but at the same time, I feel like we've made a difference. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to pay the price for that.
Well, I think about that, and I want to get to Joe here for a second, but I think about, like, we were talking about this a little earlier before we got on the show, like, there's something to be said for paying your dues. Like, and I always revert back to this, it's an analogy about a sword being made in the Bible. Like, this sword, you got to put it in the fire, right? And you got to heat it up, and you got to beat it, right? And you got to grind it down, and you got to quench it and put it back in the cold, and you got to heat it up again. You got to beat it some more, and it's a very violent experience for that piece of metal that's going through all that. But the final substance of what it is, the weapon that it becomes, the beauty of it, just the curves of it and the shininess, the sharpness of it is worth all the things that sword had to go through to get to. And I feel like God has chosen each and every one of us, Joe, you, Dan, Shane, me, for this fight. And it's not easy and it's not fun. But we see something greater than ourselves. We see the value of this republic that we've been bequeathed. Like Benjamin Franklin said, he says, you've got a republic if you can keep it. And he didn't say it was going to be easy. He didn't say it wasn't going to cost you anything. And if we look at our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and he says, look what they did to me. He said they're going to do worse unto you. And so we have to be prepared for the suffering and the fight that comes along with it. But man, if you can walk with that grace and that humility and that love through that fire, like God's going to put you through there, man. So we're so grateful to have you, Dan, here on Liberty's Cage and here. I'm glad you got to meet Joe the Box. Joe, I want to hear real quick what you're thankful for coming into Thanksgiving, man.
Yeah, come on, Shane. You know how grateful I am and how I follow the word, and my family, and how blessed I am. I wasn't there on the January 6th, although I almost went. It was a matter of I stayed back and shared it with my friends at the warehouse. But I want to ask Dan, if God moves he moves in the world in ways to people to get them through some really, really tough times. And I just wanted to know if God was in your life, and if he was, when did he come in, and where are you with our Lord? Did he help you get through your disaster?
Oh yeah, I mean, absolutely. Even during the down times, I knew God had me. I've said that from the beginning. I feel like I got called.
Yeah.
Not just January 6th, man, but I got called for whatever reason. I'm from School of Hard Knocks, man, and I've been like Shane said, man, I've been burnt and quenched so many times, dude. I'm ready to rock.
Do you make your own bullets? Can you ask that question? You don't have to answer it. Just blink once.
I just got out 10 days ago, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, bro.
Next question.
Sometimes we don't talk around campfires.
What's interesting? What's interesting, Dan, is like I also have a checkered past. You see me. I'm covered in tattoos. I grew up an angry, wounded young man. And so to understand where God has brought me through, people look at my life and they're like, man, God prepared you for this battle your whole life. He goes, you went through all these fights, whether it was like jail, shooting my stepdad when I was 20, watching people get there's so many things I could just tell you about my life story that God has prepared. He has tilled the soil of my heart to make it tender. I used to be a very angry, violent, hardened young man who didn't care a lot about what people felt or thought or anything. And he's tilled that soil and really changed my perspective on life. And like you said, when you said he called me to it, God pulled my card. He said, you're going. This is what you're doing. It's going to be rough. It's going to suck, but I believe in you. And I think the ones he cares about, he puts that burden on because he knows we're capable, because we accept the call, and he knows we're capable to carry that burden, and we're going to be ambassadors for his kingdom, and we're going to represent him well. And so that's what this country needs, is men who are willing to stand. That's why I say this: stand in the gap for this nation. When men are in prison or gone from the families, when there's people who are too caught up in their lives, their businesses, their families, their work, to pay attention to the republic, he's going to find people who are ready to go and who are willing to stand in that breach for those people who are not there. And I'm thankful for you guys, man.
Yeah. Wonderful. So Louisville is a blue city, as you had said. Is that, are we going to go into there next and clean the streets? Do you think we can do that? Clean up that town?
I mean, Trump wants to come, there's some agents, some place to stay. We could probably help it work out,
Yeah.
No, I mean, I would love to see changes made where I live too. It's like Shane was just saying, it's about our country, and School of Hard Knocks, that's where I come from, man. I got in trouble when I was young. And, I changed my world. I changed my life, and maturated. That's what we're supposed to do, the maturation process. And I've never really looked highly upon myself. I know I'm worthy, you know, to a certain extent. I know I'm a good person, but I've kind of gotten used to society, to steal the Floyd verbiage, with the proverbial knee on my neck.
Right.
I did a lot of years in prison. I got out with nothing but a shirt on my back. I'm a master electrician now. It's a refuse to lose kind of attitude, and that's what it takes for times like these. No snowflakes allowed.
That's right. That's right.
Is there, I mean, Kentucky's such a beautiful state. Who is our governor over there? And are they doing things in that state at all? I mean, I just can't get over this whole election integrity thing. They jailed everybody, put everybody in on January 6th, and it was really over their thievery and their lying and corruptness. It makes me so angry to hear them now say that it's something that we want to do, that we want to put them into jail. And honestly, I really do. I would like to see them be punished for what they've done to you guys, and I don't have that forgiveness in me. I don't know if I can find that.
Well, it's not for them. Remember, forgiveness is not for the person you're forgiving. Forgiveness is for you and your heart, your soul. And you gotta, sometimes you just can't let these people drag you down. Like I said, a refuse to lose kind of attitude. Teflon Don, man, just let that go, dude. Do what God wants you to do.
That's right.
Wow.
Right. Well, I'm Shane Jenkins. I'm here with Joe the Box, with recently pardoned Livewire, a.k.a. Dan Wilson. This is Liberty's Cage. We're so happy to have you guys here with us. We will be back after these messages with more from Dan Wilson, Joe the Box, and Shane Jenkins on Liberty's Cage.
Amen.
You've worked hard and saved, but inflation and increased money supply are eroding your buying power. Protect and grow your wealth with physical gold and silver. Sound Money. With a Sound Money wallet, your wealth stays in your control. Buy fractionally, vault securely, ship directly, and instantly liquidate your gold and silver at the highest buyback price in the industry. Real money, real ownership. Visit tafwsoundmoney.info or scan the QR code and start securing your financial future today.
The America First Ultra MAGA Store. For all your MAGA needs. We sell t-shirts, tumblers, flags, hats, sneakers, bumper stickers, and a whole lot more. The most patriotic America First retail store. The America First Ultra MAGA Store.
The America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday. Real America's Voice all across the country. 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
Corporate transfer. Fine professional, moving and storage, and inventory management.
America First Warehouse was really the most patriotic venue that you can ever imagine. We wanted to build something for people to be able to come to and feel so comfortable and so relaxed, because there is nothing out there like it. We give an opportunity for people to really feel good about themselves and about this great country.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Shane Jenkins here with another episode of Liberty's Cage with Joe the Box and Dan Wilson. We've been talking to Dan. He's been out about 10 days. It's the day before Thanksgiving. We just talked about what everybody's thankful for. But I kind of want to get back into your story. Like you said, you kind of got, I don't want to say activated, but involved in 2019. I gave my life to Jesus Christ in 2016 and really started paying very close attention to politics at that point because I started to care about the unborn. But you kind of said you have a checkered past, much like myself. So kind of what started your involvement in politics and protesting or whatever it was, counter protesting? I think you've told me before you were involved with the Oath Keepers, maybe some of the Proud Boys. But just kind of give us your backstory a little bit, and then we'll lead up to January 6th here in a minute whenever we get there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm born and raised, Louisville, Kentucky. A little bit of rough growing up. I was a little bit of a wild child. So I went to prison when I was 18. Did that thing, and I got my GED. I was a senior in high school, actually, and got my GED, got my electrical degree while I was incarcerated. Got out August 21st, 2002. Just started working, doing my thing, and built a career, staying out of trouble, and when I first got out, I ain't gonna lie, a little bit of the bars and fighting and stupid shit like that. I was a young man. But
ain't never done none of that, have we, Joe?
No. I can't believe I got away with it. Some people don't get away with it.
Yeah, so I just I just kept working. That's what I just kept going to work. Built my career. So I had a decent little life going. Of course I paid attention a little bit. Like Trump, come around in 2016, of course, I was like, or 2015, I was like, of course, let's give a bit. He can't do no worse than anybody else has been doing. You know what I'm saying? At that point, I was a travel industrial electrician. So, I'm just working, I'm the guy that, works, Thanksgiving through the 1st on shutdown turnarounds, while everybody else is celebrating their stuff. If you go out there and look at the next smokestack you drive by and you look up in the air and that red blinking light, somebody got to put that in, so I did, industrial travel work, major manufacturing, things of that nature. So I was just kind of busy, with my life, I was asleep at the wheel just like everybody else, for the most part. And so I started really paying attention heavily in 2019 and stuff. And then really the straw that broke my back was, just the political violence in the street. I don't consider myself a Democrat or a Republican. I consider myself an independent constitutionalist. You talk to me on one topic, I might be a little liberal. You talk to me on another topic, I'm going to be conservative. I think most Americans are middle of the road, so to speak. And that's the way I kind of looked at myself, because being a convicted felon, especially trying to be in an electrical career, I got held back all the time. I got told no a lot. But I had that refuse to lose attitude, like I mentioned before, so that just kind of, became my motto. And I could make a lot more money, but society holds me back. I'm qualified and I'm good, but they hold me back. So I just learned to deal with that, and that's kind of like I mentioned a minute ago, that Teflon Don attitude. You got to let that go. Serenity prayer has always been important to me. Control what you can, let go of the rest, man. Mm-hmm. Just let go, let God, right? And I'm not hugely, spiritual or religious. I'm more spiritual at my age, but yeah, I just feel like, God he saw my heart was right, that I guess that's the biggest thing about me. I may not be perfect, everybody might not like me or whatever, but my heart's right, my intent's pure. If I make mistakes along the way, I guess they just call that life. But so the political violence is really what got me started. it really bothered me because I don't consider myself a tough guy, but it really bothered me seeing people being accosted in the streets, being attacked in the streets, and especially people who can't defend themselves. And so that's kind of what got me involved, man. My whole goal was to protect the people in the streets. Of course, I was against the COVID stuff. I would show up to the school board meetings. So to me, it didn't matter if it was BLM, Antifa, or the local police department trying to stop on the parents. See, I'm an independent constitutionalist. I back the blue, but I do not follow blindly.
Right.
I believe in law and order. There's no doubt. And I've made my mistakes along the way, but I guess I maturated, right? That's what we call it, And I grew up. I never had that male role model. Right. I never had that positive male role model. Yeah. Never had nobody teach me how to be Mama tried. I got to make sure everybody understands that. Mama tried.
Mama tried.
I never had that man.
Look at that. Did he know you had that under your beard? I guess
so that's kind of where, not to get too long-winded there, but that's kind of what got me involved. That's kind of where I believe, where I stand, my morals, my principles, my values, my name, my honor, my word is all I've ever had. And that's what I stand on.
That's right. And so you voted in the 2020 election, I'm assuming, right? Or
I'm not allowed. I'm a convicted felon.
So in Texas, the law is if you're off parole and don't have pending felonies, you're allowed to vote. I didn't know if in Kentucky, what is the law there? Once you're a felon, you're out?
Yeah, and to be honest, I've never looked into trying to register because, like I said before, honestly, left never cared about me, right never cared about me, society never cared about me. So I just made my way.
That's right. There you go. You know who you back go. That's right.
Absolutely.
So I'm assuming you watched the election 2020, and you had been. I think did you run into the Oath Keepers and stuff like that? You had went to rallies with them, or?
Yeah, they came to Louisville, as a lot of people know. So that's when I met Stuart and them, and there's a couple other Oath Keepers. I've worked. I'm a security guy. I traveled the country. In 2020, I was everywhere. If people needed protecting, I was there. I'm 3%er, run with Proud Boys, support the Oath Keepers. That's basically where I found myself. I was just a security guy.
Right. So we watched I watched the election. You got a question, Joe? Go ahead.
No, I'm just trying to. So you said you run security all over the country, and have you been involved in these scuffles with the Antifa all over the country?
Yes. We're always, one thing.
Elaboration on that, because I can't stand these guys. I can't believe the balls that they have when they attack the ICE officers. It's a disgrace.
Yeah.
Well, you bring up a valid point there. I was getting ready to say something else, and I'll get to it. But that's the problem that I found. See, our law enforcement, and I know they try, but our law enforcement and our government let us down. These people were running wild in the streets, attacking people, attacking businesses, burning stuff down, somebody tried to fly a flag, and they're attacking them, and they can't defend themselves, little old ladies, little old men. Well, you know what? Now now you're gonna hold us accountable and call us the bad guy because we got out there and did what you were supposed to be fucking doing. Excuse my French.
No, listen, I speak French very well, so I understand everything you say over there. Now, there was New York City it's a real shithole right now, New York City, and they got this communist guy coming in. And I'm going to tell you what, it's a sad state when we look at the country and I see people talk so bad about our country, how evil it is, or they talk about how, racist we are. And, man, this is a freedom that we have, that we can carry guns and make guns. They shouldn't be in there counting how many guns I have. They should never see the number of guns that I have. It's none of their business.
Right.
They have come in there and slowly are taking away all of our rights. and they really want to take all of it as they continue down the road with the Islamic nation and the way they've Joe Biden, Lion Joe, Communist Joe Biden, opened up the borders and created this massive problem for us. And quite frankly, if we don't become more like you, my friend, we will be shit on and we will be overrun. And me, at the America First Media and Television Campus, will never let that happen. I will fight till they lock my ass up. I don't want to go to jail. I really don't. But I'm not going to put it up. I want to be like you guys. I inspire to be. I'm grateful to know you and know you more as I go down this road, because America needs us.
Well, and also, Dan, I don't know if you noticed, Joe's wearing a sling on his shoulder because he was accosted by a left-wing liberal lunatic at Walgreens, I guess, with his brother. I don't know. Somebody was
I would
really
never
wearing.
say where it happened. It was
Well,
at the
somewhere.
Capitol, on the streets.
Allegedly. The names and places have been changed to protect the innocent and the.
Right, exactly. But this is where I was coming to. When you guys were doing all of that time in jail, looking through your window, flashing the lights to us on the street on Freedom Corner, as we were praying for you every night, or that team was every single night, which we're going to get to see them on the 4th, 6th, and 7th. There's about 35 seconds left, Shane. Why don't you bring it home for us, okay? And we'll come back with more, my friend. This is very nice for us.
We're going to hear about Joe hurting his shoulder, left-wing liberal lunatic, and we're going to have more from Dan Wilson. We're going to get into maybe some January 6th, and then, a lot of people don't know Dan Wilson supported the ones of us that were already in while he was still out on the streets, and so we're eternally grateful for Dan Wilson, and it's an honor to call him my brother and my friend. We will be back with more Liberty's Cage right after this.
Most people think they have options when searching for the best deals when they travel. But here's the shocking truth. 100% of the major travel agencies are owned by just two entities, Expedia and Booking Holdings. They claim to offer the lowest rates, but due to the hotel rate parity agreement, they all have the same pricing, limiting genuine competition. When you book through these sites, you act as your own travel agent, but the profits are going to organizations that don't support our patriot values. We cannot allow that to continue. So, we decided to make travel great again by starting a US-based travel membership platform, mypatriottravel.com. We are patriots helping patriots. Together, we can disrupt the travel industry by not spending our hard-earned dollars supporting the radical left. For just $29.99 per month, you gain access to true wholesale rates on travel, saving you on average 35% and up to 65%. Book as often as you like, with no limits. Keep your hard-earned dollars in your pocket and spend them on things you need and want to support. Go to mypatriottravel.com/TAFW and grab your membership today. mypatriottravel.com/TAFW, making travel great again.
Hey, fellow patriots, it's Cindy Gross here, host of Right for America, from your favorite place, the America First Warehouse. You've seen me show on my show so many products from this country's #1 most patriotic manufacturer with close to 400 products. You need to exchange the products you use in your house to this company and make your dollars count in our country.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box, the America First Warehouse, most patriotic venue in all the land.
The America First Warehouse, a beacon for all to see, a symbol of unity. For the patriots of America.
Happy early Thanksgiving, America. Joe the Box, Dan Wilson, Shane Jenkins here from Liberty's Cage. Joe, it's always an honor to broadcast from the America First Warehouse and to be considered your friend and brother. It's a pleasure to know you, and man, we have some good times
We have so much work to do, Shane Jenkins. We got so much work ahead of us. I feel the power of the Holy Spirit that moves me. You've been into my house. You see how I honor him with my cross in both here and the wrestling room on the other side. Yeah, I knew you'd like that one. And, we're on a move. And I am very, very curious about Dan Wilson. You are a man that you intrigue me because you love the country enough to see the injustice that was going on. And did you serve in the military at all? Or where did you get that discipline and the kind of desire to support this free country?
No, I'm not a veteran. No ex-law enforcement, nothing like that. I don't know. I guess Mama tried. And
That
worked
seems
a
to
little
be the
bit.
slogan for you guys. You did. You're gonna get that tattooed on your neck, Mama tried.
No, I'm not gonna do that one. But I don't know. I mean, I guess just I am 50 years old. It was different back in the day, right? We were raised a little different. Quick little story. General Schwarzkopf come to Louisville, Kentucky to the fair, and Lee Greenwood opened up. This is back when Lee Greenwood wasn't anybody, and it was Conway, No Show, and Reba all in one house, and then General Schwarzkopf come out. I was a young man.
Crazy. That's a good show right there.
Oh yeah, it's a real good show. But no, it's just. I guess when I was raised, you were more patriotic. You love your country, It's supposed to be the land of the free, the home of the brave, man.
Did 9/11 affect you guys in Kentucky? How did you think about that action?
Oh yeah, actually, I was in prison, and no, it was still devastating. I remember watching the TV every day for like 2 weeks. I didn't even want to go to school. I was actually in electrical school at the time. Yeah, I was in prison, and yeah, when we seen that, it was devastating. Just because you have a checkered past, like Shane said, or whatever, that's society's way of looking down. It's verbiage, man. Everything in life is a verbiage, and so different people have different perspectives. But just because you're not perfect, who is, doesn't mean you can't love your country.
That's right.
You are perfect, my friend. Every one of us are perfect that we were made and what we're here for. And I really dig you. I think you're like probably most of the American citizens that are out there. When they always make fun of the flyover states. I love to drive through the states. That's how I did it my whole life as a truck driver that understood what the no turn on red means, and 55 miles an hour or whatever. I understand. I've still done that. But you seem to me to represent pretty much most of the country, and I think most of the country feels the same way. And it was a disgrace what they did to the J6ers, and how they twisted, turned, and lied. I hope that you have a good direction. I hope that I say restitution. I really, I feel that I hope the restitution comes your way, all of you guys. And I know that at the America First Warehouse, we really push for that, to try and support that. January 6th is going to be a tremendous weekend down in D.C. Shane Jenkins, you're involved in a lot of that, right?
Yeah, I will be there. There's a lot going on. I can't really talk about all of it yet, and I can't say who is
I know
and who.
a lot about it, though. I can't tell you about either.
We are going to be celebrating an album being released from the J6 Prison Choir that we recorded down in
That's
Miami.
pretty badass.
That's going to be cool. But I kind of wanted to get back because we got this segment and one more, and then we're out of here.
Yeah,
so
let's go.
So let's talk about January 6th. But before that, I want to play this clip. If we can get production to play asset number 2. This is Lindsey Graham.
Number 2. What are you, like a professional podcaster?
Can we hear this?
It wasn't peaceful.
If we can
I
hear
was
it.
there. If it had been
No
up to
sound.
me, I would have shot
If it had
some
been
of
up
these
to me,
people
I
in the
would have
head.
shot some of
Let me
these
tell you
people in the
why.
head. Let me
They
tell
took
you
over
why
your
they took
capital.
over your
I
capital.
don't care what the cause
I don't care
was.
what the cause was.
They destroyed the
They
place.
destroyed the place. That is your that's your senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. We didn't have any audio, but it's okay. You're good, guys. You can bring
I
us
heard
back.
it. He said that you destroyed the Capitol.
Right. He said while they were there, I would have shot
the Capitol.
I would have shot some of them in the head. That's what Lindsey Graham had to say about it. So, I don't know why President Trump continues to be friends with this guy. But I just kind of wanted to use that for a segue to get into talk. If you want to talk about what happened on January 6th, then Dan, feel free to talk about it. I think the statute of limitations might be over on that one for you because you're pardoned by the president, so you might be good in that arena. But if you don't want to talk about that, I definitely want to get into. January 6th was a big deal, and what you want to talk about where you were at the Capitol? I would love to hear all of that if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, I can touch base on that a little bit. I was down at the Ellipse. I was doing, our perimeter overwatch like we always do. That's why I was there that day, to protect people. And, of course, the election integrity stuff is, that's a whole conversation on its own, But, so I was out there at the Ellipse. I was on I was out towards the Washington Monument, kind of off to the left of it if you were looking at stage. One thing that me and my associates used to do a lot of was in that kind of situation, walking people back and forth to vehicles, just kind of keeping an eye on things. We weren't employed by anyone, just so everybody's clear on that. I'm not trying to express anything like that. As usual, on our own dime and time. But just with the whole COVID thing, I think a lot of people at this point they've forgotten the state of the country in 2020. With just everything that was going on. So I ended up coming up through I come up National Mall and ended up coming up the left side of I'm not sure if it's south or north, but I believe it was the north side. But I come up on the left side of Reflection Pond and come up through there, and I ended up going through the Senate wing door at 237.
Okay. And so they charged you basically with, you get home, all that afterwards, and pretty uneventful, though, as far as when you went in and all that, I'm assuming. But you got home and they had charged you with, was it the four major misdemeanors that they charged everybody with that kind of just went in the building?
Well, that's what they kicked in my door over. The 4 misdemeanors, the 1752 and 1504s, the parading, the trespassing.
They kicked your door in over a misdemeanor. Let's frame that. That doesn't happen anywhere. But go ahead.
Yeah, right. So I was charged that day and taken to jail by the Commonwealth of Kentucky for possession of the firearms. That's what pardon just got, the second one. So that was on the raid. And then 8 months later, the federal government decided to indict me on the gun. So the state dropped the charges and they picked it up. So keep in mind, I turned myself in on those charges to the FBI. I get out, I'm on release. I literally have a GPS monitor on my ankle. They've got lawyers, I've got a PO, whole 9 yards. They send another tactical team to my job on May 25th of 2023. So this is like a year later. I was raided on June 3rd, 2022. So almost a week shy of 1 year, they sent another tactical team to my work and put me down in front of everybody with goblet guns and stuff again. Keep in mind, I got a GPS ankle monitor on. I got lawyers. I got a PO. I mean, okay, so I got the treatment twice.
Wow.
What was your original question? I'm sorry, you get me going.
But no, you're good. So they took you into custody. So they let you out on bond. Then you're GPS. They take you into custody. Now you stay in custody up until the first pardon. Is that how that worked, or?
No,
They let you back?
I actually made another bond, so
Okay.
I was on two bonds.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm a master electrician. I work. I pay my taxes. I'm not a threat. They know this and actually in my detention hearing, the prosecutor tried to tell lies, saying I was making threats against the police and the government and all this stuff. And the judge pushed her. I mean, I was kind of impressed. The judge is just like, this is a magistrate. This is a judge in Louisville, Kentucky, Western District. And they're like, well, where are you hearing this? Well, the prosecutor literally said, I can't tell you. So I've got this information where he's a threat to society, and I want you to keep him locked up, but I can't tell you where I got the information from. I mean, I told my lawyer, I said, the only question I got is it a lie or is it illegal surveillance? Because I know it's a lie, because even with illegal surveillance, like we all know they do, I knew I never said such thing, But, yeah, so I got released again, and that's when I just started fighting for all of us.
Right. So you got out on bond twice. Now you're out. So when did they finally, you said, now when you got pardoned, you were in custody. So how long, I guess that was May 25th. You got arrested in 2023. You got arrested on June 3rd of 22. So how long were you out after you got out on bond the second time until they took you back into custody? You got sentenced.
They took me into custody at my sentencing hearing in August of 24.
Okay. August of 24.
No time.
So then you got pardoned. So you did August until January 20th, and then what was that like? Getting the. How much time did you
get back after this hard cut? I'm cutting your ass right now.
Yeah,
Shane
right after
Jenkins.
this. Sorry, I missed it.
You was a professional podcaster till about 5 seconds ago.
Have you noticed your money just doesn't stretch like it used to? Your paycheck feels lighter, and your savings aren't growing. The culprits? Inflation and increased money supply. They've both been quietly eating away at your purchasing power for years. Today, the dollar's value has dropped significantly. You feel it every time you spend money on goods and services. Back in 1965, $1 or an ounce of silver could buy you a gallon of milk. Fast forward to today. That same dollar barely buys a couple of coffee creamers, while an ounce of silver would get you 8 gallons of milk. Gold and silver have held their value for centuries. If you had 2,500 ounces of silver back in 1965, you could buy a brand new Ford Mustang. Today, 2,500 ounces of silver would buy you 2 Mustangs. Similarly, in the year 2000, 628 ounces of gold would buy a new $170,000 home. Today, 628 ounces would buy you a $2,500,000 home. The problem? 95% of Americans don't own physical gold or silver. They think it's too complicated and too expensive, but it doesn't have to be. We offer a membership program that allows you to buy gold or silver with as little as $1. You can buy fractional amounts, safely vault them, or have them delivered to your doorstep, and you can liquidate them whenever you want at the highest buyback price in the industry. Ready to protect your wealth and keep your purchasing power? Scan the QR code or go to tafw.soundmoney.com to learn more.
All right, live from Studio 6B on a Friday night, live at the America First Warehouse. Live at the America First Warehouse on a Friday, Real America's Voice, all across the country, 103.9 LI News Radio, all across your radio, Suffolk County, Long Island. Glad you're in.
It's me, Joe the Box, and I'm John the Blanket with the America First Podcast.
That's what I'm talking about. The Fred Rubino Podcast coming to you from the America First Warehouse.
Welcome to Right for America. Issues that unite, don't ignite.
I'm James Justice. We got Stephen Ruth over here. What are we doing, Steve? Fighting! Welcome to the Patriots Podcast. Good evening, everyone. We live stream every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. right here from the America First Warehouse, the most patriotic venue in all the land.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the On the Right Side podcast here at the America First Warehouse in Long Island, New York.
Welcome to Liberty's Cage, the podcast tearing down the walls of America's broken justice system.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Downey Jr. podcast. Be free, stay free.
Welcome to Suffocating in Suburbia with me, your host, Stevie GB.
Hello, America. Shane Jenkins back with Liberty's Cage. Joe the Box, Dan Wilson, recently pardoned by the President of the United States, not once, but for the second time. Some might say the best pardon was the second one, because he got out of prison for good this time. But no, I was asking before, I missed the mark on getting out of that segment, but we were wondering, so you got out in May of 23. You said you got arrested again back in August of 24, and then we didn't really know, and come to find out later on down the road that the pardons were much more tentative than anybody had imagined, that they were not a sure thing and were not guaranteed, but I was kind of banking on it. I felt very strongly that President Trump was going to honor his word, and he did, but come to find out it was a very sketchy thing. So what was it like being in prison the first time and getting pardoned? Like, how was that? What was that?
Oh, it was amazing, right? I was at FCI Beckley in West Virginia with Josh Pruitt, and so I'm paying attention all day, right? And I'm watching the news and stuff. In my dorm they did keep Fox News on at least. There's not, you know how it is. You don't have many options when you're in the prison, but. So I'm paying attention all day and stuff because there's a lot more support in prisons for Trump than they realize.
Yeah.
But so I'm watching it, and I'm thinking, all right, is it going to happen or not? I'm not hearing anything, and I got a buddy of mine that's waiting there to pick us up, and just like at all the prisons, there are people there waiting, and so we're, and he don't end up signing it till he gets back to the Oval Office, and I didn't really know, and I'd given up. I actually I went into the computer room and jumped on the computer, and I type real slow or whatever, so 10 minutes at a time doesn't get me much, but I typed out. I remember it was 6 or 7 people I hit up real quick. All I said was so much for day one.
Yeah.
And then I went back to my cell, and I put my headphones on, turned my radio on, put my headphones on, and I heard he signed the order, and I ran down there because at Beckley we get locked down at 8:30.
Yeah.
So I ran down to the phone. I was like, "Y'all gotta let me on. Y'all gotta let me on. You gotta, So because I'd already told my buddy. I was like, "Dude, I don't think it's gonna happen, man. Just go home." I was like, because he'd been there all day. God bless his soul, and. Yeah, so we get locked down, whatever. I had my stuff sitting on the table, my Bible, my letters and stuff. I wasn't taking much. You leave all that, right? And so it was all sitting there ready. But yeah, like 11:30, man, they come knocked on my door and said, "You're going home." And hell yeah, I'm going home.
So I want to frame this right for you, Dan. So we all got out. I got out the same night. I got out at 1 a.m. in Terre Haute, Indiana, at FCI Terre Haute. And we all got out. Our lives changed instantly. Go home. But then I want to frame this for the American public because they called you back. Like you said, they hunted you down. They had reached out to your emergency contact and said, "Hey, we need Dan to come back and turn himself in. He's going back to prison." So this high of getting pardoned by the president to who called you and what, are you serious? Then kind of just walk us through what that was like.
Of course, exactly what you're saying. It was devastating. I hadn't been out 3 days yet, and they're telling me I got to go back to prison. I'm like, what do you mean? I got a presidential pardon. Because they specifically said if they looked at all the cases individually, they were doing it all on one piece of paper, but they looked at every individual case. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if it's just clerical or, whatever. Of course it's political, but yeah, I got the call to go back, and I'm not gonna run and hide. I'm not a running and hiding guy, right? But yeah, I ain't gonna lie, man. I got the call, and or at least I was given the message, and I grabbed my truck keys and just walked out the door. And I called the lawyers. I called the lawyers. I'm trying to do it the right way. But I wasn't gonna make myself available. I've already been hit so many times. And just knowing how they are, anybody that's been through this understands what I'm saying. We walk on the eggshells to a certain extent, But yeah, it was traumatic. There's no doubt. Just doing this time, I thought because of my experience of doing time before, it helped me. I know it helped me to be able to navigate and stuff. That experience from decades ago. But at the same time, maybe because the situation was different, because I earned it back then. I didn't really feel like I earned it this time. I may not have been completely perfect. I may not be completely innocent. But at the same time, I don't deserve what you're doing to me. And so, yeah, the emotional and mental toll it's taken is really difficult. And I think that's the part that we'll have to work through, because I do have the experience from doing it, before, but it's not easy. It's not easy. It goes back to what I've kind of said earlier. You got to have a refuse to lose kind of attitude, man. And I don't want to overrun here because I know we're getting on the last segment, but I want to say to everybody, I know everybody don't get along. We're all from all different walks of life or whatever. Please act accordingly. They have grouped us together, whether we deserve it or not. All these other topics are debatable.
Right.
And I'm not saying they're not, but I just want to say that, we need to represent, because we represent each other at this point, whether we like it or not. And I just want to see everybody, come together. It ain't gonna happen, but I'm a kumbaya to a certain extent. I don't know. I'm just one of them guys that, I'm not a snowflake, man. We're not all going to
succeed. You want everybody to do well, right? You want everybody to do well.
Yeah, and we need to behave though. We need to act accordingly. We have been given a voice. We've been given an opportunity. This does not need to be taken lightly.
No.
We got a country to save, people.
Dan Wilson, Dan, you had said earlier that you did not have a role model in your life, and I can only observe from our conversation today that you are a role model for many. And if that's Jesus' calling for you, I want to help you do that, brother, because what you say and the power of your words really have to be echoed. It's terrible what they've done to us. And so to hear your excitement when you got the pardon, and then to see that you had to go through that again. Are there anybody else that is still in jail, Shane Jenkins, do you know of?
No, I think, there's Benjamin Martin, who's still kind of pending the same gun felon charge navigation thing right now. But we're also, like Stand in the Gap is also fighting to get that resolved as well. So we've got the other people who haven't been made whole because they haven't been pardoned. But I wanted to just say something personally to you, Dan. I got pardoned, and I kind of just wrote everybody off who was still in jail or in custody, and that was something that I missed that call because I felt like, there has to be a reason those guys are in there. They did something wrong. They did something they shouldn't have done, and I kind of was lax on it at first, and then I really just kind of absorbed it, and I try to put myself in your situation or other people's situation. I was like, okay. I not only cannot discount these people and what they're going through, but I also need to be an advocate for these people and try to fight for these people. And so that's really what kind of brought me around. And I do apologize for that because I didn't understand the situation or the scope of it or what was going on. But I'm so glad you're out, man. And you told us what it was like to go down again, but what was it like 10 days ago to get back on the high horse and be like, I got pardoned again, I'm going home?
Oh, it's amazing. Like I said, man, humbled. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed. But they come knocked on the door. This time it was 7:30. On a Friday night, I was chilling, watching a movie on the tablet because we were locked down. We were locked down a lot at that prison. But I was locked down, and they come knocked on the door, and the officer said, "You pack your stuff." And I was like, "What do you mean pack my stuff?" He said, "Pack your stuff." I said, where am I going? He said, pack your stuff. And I was like, where am I going?
It's Friday night. Where could you be going?
Yeah. So he finally cracked a smile and said, your pardon come through, dude. I ain't gonna lie, man. My knees went weak. My hands come up. My hands come up. I just said, praise Jesus. And my celly come out of the bed, and the neighbor heard. So next thing I know, that dorm went. It went crazy, man. I do want to throw out there right quick. I do have to say the officers and the inmates at FCI Beckley, they gave me a pass. They looked out. They didn't bother me. They understood what was happening to me, and they let me slide. And I'm forever grateful for that. I'm just so forever grateful for so much right now. It's the most beautiful Thanksgiving in the world.
There you go. Well, if production, if you guys, we've got Dan. I think we're trying to get Dan Wilson's Give Send Go up. If you guys can put that up, we got a QR code. I think if you guys in the audience, like Dan's trying to get his feedback on him, if you guys can scan this QR code and make some donations to Dan for his Give Send Go, so he can have a happy Christmas, Merry Christmas and a happy Thanksgiving, man. And again, Dan, we're so thankful for you. Joe, we're thankful for you and your family. We love you guys, man. And
Aaron Ellis is here.
I'm so glad you're out, bro. I'm glad this is over with for you now, and you can finally get your life back together, man.
No, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the time y'all taking bringing me on. Appreciate you, Joe.
I got your Give, Send, Go right here, brother love. I'm sending you a little bit of something from my way. And I'd love you to come back on some of our shows, but I'll see you in January. I'm very certain about that. God bless, brother.
God bless you, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody, that's really stood up, standing in the gap, everybody, Condemn USA, just all the advocacy. It's a beautiful thing. God bless you, Donald Trump. And let's make America great again.
Sure. Everybody, this has been Liberty's Cage. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Dan. We love you guys. We will see you next time.
Peace, boys.